So get this, podcast listeners. Democrats support school choice? What? Democrats support school choice? Well, you'll never guess why. You'll never guess why. So Democrats apparently are supporting school choice. And the reason they are supporting school choice is because Democrats want there to be mask mandates in public schools. The vast majority of Democrats support mask mandates in K-12 education. That is to say that if you're in K-12 and your parents are Democrats, your Democrats support forcing everyone in that school to wear masks. Conversely, Republicans, a majority of Republicans, don't support the mandates. They support the choice. That is to say, if you are Republican and you have children who are in K-12 school, you support you choosing what is best for your children as to whether or not they should wear a mask or not. You don't think the government should force it or mandate it. Well, what's happening is in school districts where mask mandates aren't in place, Democrats are so upset that they're now saying that they want to pull their kids out and send them to a school that has mask mandates. And that's why they're for school choice. It's like, not because they want really good education for their kid. Well, it's not true. I'm sure they want a good education for their kid. But I think it's really interesting that with COVID, there's a new motivation by Democrats to support school choice. And apparently it's overwhelming in the Democrat electorate that they support the right to choose where to send their child and have the tax money for the schools follow them to whatever school they choose. And the primary reason for them wanting to send their kids to private school or some other school is the mask mandate. Namely, not that they're anti-mask, but they're pro-mask. I mean, it can't make this stuff up. So that actually opens up a great opportunity for Republicans, because if you're a Republican and you say to yourself, wow, there's an opportunity to actually have people go to private school, and all we have to do is just talk to the Democrat Party and talk to Democrats and have a frank discussion. Like, look, you want your kid to go to a pro-mask school? I want my kid to go to a school where they have the option of wearing a mask, but not the requirement. But we both share this one principle, and that is we should be able to choose which school our kid goes to. Let's work together and do that. Let's do that. There's an intersection of our interests here. And that intersection is that we, as parents, want to do what's best for our children. That's called school choice. So let's do it. Let's work together. And I have to say that governors who are Republicans in blue states, like my governor in the state of Maryland is a Republican in a very blue state in the state of Maryland. And he has had an opportunity to use federal stimulus monies. He's had an opportunity under the extraordinary powers that were given to him under COVID to sign executive orders and to encourage school choice and to encourage and use monies under the emergency to help people pay for school choice, to pay for private schools, to pay for alternative schools, and to really talk about this issue in a real complete way. Namely, if you're a Democrat, you want your kid to go to a school that's smaller and maybe safer because of COVID, you should have that right. And talk about those principles, which is, we're all saying the same thing, actually, that we want what's best for our children, and we want to decide that. But unfortunately, the Republican governors in blue states, where the teachers' unions control everything, haven't been willing to buck those unions. They haven't been willing to do that which is necessary because it's more important to them to be popular, much more important for them to be popular than it is for them to take a stance on a fundamental issue, one that would truly change educational outcomes in their states, because they want to be liked. That's the most important thing. They want to be liked by the teachers' union. They just want to be liked. They don't want there to be any controversy, because if there is, then, their popularity polls may go down. So it's an incredible lost opportunity for my governor and the governor of Maryland, who did nothing to promote school choice during COVID and hasn't used the bully pulpit to really talk about it, and to use his pen, and to use federal stimulus monies, and to use the Constitution in the state where everyone must receive an appropriate and free education. I'm sorry, for me, if my kids were in K-12 right now, it would not be appropriate for them to be wearing a mask all the time. That's my personal opinion, just so you know, podcast listeners. By the way, that's also my choice. I'm the parent. So I should get to do that. I should get to send my kids to the school that I think best fits them. And so should you. If you're on the other side of this issue and you're like, no, I want my kids to wear a mask and I want everyone around them to wear a mask, you should have that right too. But my governor and the governors of many blue state governors who are Republicans, and there are several of them out there, they've really bungled this opportunity. And it was an opportunity to actually take what I believe is the civil rights issue of our time, and that is the right to send your child to any school that you want your child to go to and have those educational dollars follow them.